Welcome back everyone to the ThinScale Tech Blueprint. In today's episode we're going to be taking a look at group policy, more specifically how group policy can be used to control the applications that users are allowed to run on your desktop estate. And really what we want to be asking ourselves is that control enough to guarantee that your users can only be running the applications that you want them to. So we'll take a quick look at some group policy in action, how we can sort of deploy a lockdown configuration and on the face of it, make it look like that only certain apps can run. So we'll switch over. I've deployed, I guess before we get into that, we know group policy has been around for forever, really. It's very widely used in organisations to deploy configuration settings to Windows, lockdown settings, even deploy software to endpoints. It's centrally controlled, it's centrally managed. It is a great tool. So what I've done here. On this test machine, I've deployed, I don't know, half a dozen or so group policy settings, and I've tried to lock this desktop down so that I can only actually get access to a couple of applications. So we can see already I've removed things like the all applications. I've removed the search capabilities. I've removed all the applications apart from the two I want to use as an example here today. There's things like the run dialog. So if I hit Windows R, I've restricted run, so I can't type just the name of an executable and try and launch it. So on the face of it, it looks like as a user of this device, I can only get access to these two applications. And obviously, command prompt isn't one you would typically give to your users, but it's a good example of another type of group policy. So if I just run this, you'll see that I've also deployed a particular group policy setting that actually disables the command prompt. There's a particular setting that command prompt looks for, and if it's been deployed, you'll see it's been disabled. So it's a good example of how group policy can be used to control the applications. Administrators can automatically populate the start menu with particular applications that they want their users to be running. But the problem really comes when the applications that they can use perhaps give the user the option of running another application. Microsoft applications are typically very good. There's lots and lots and lots of group policy settings out there, and you can really lock down most Windows applications, but can the same be said for every application that you need to deploy to your users? Do any of them have or provide a mechanism for users to perhaps get to something that they shouldn't get to, or run something that you don't want them to run? So just for, it's a very basic example today, and clearly one that would normally be locked down through group policy. It's the good old, file open dialog. This can be a very common way for people to launch or try and run applications that they don't generally have access to via the shell or the start menu. So you can just sort of browse around. We can look to start.exe, and we can just start browsing every application that's installed on this machine. I can just right click it and click open, and lo and behold, regedit will run. Again, I know there's a group policy that prevents the registry editor from running, but it's just as an example there. From one application, I'm able to browse and launch other applications, because whilst group policy has been used in this example to lock the UI down and prevent the user seeing applications that they shouldn't be able to run, it's not technically preventing me from running the application if I can get to it or find a mechanism of running that application. This again, these examples I'm using the built-in notepad here, but this doesn't just apply to applications that are perhaps installed. We all know that malware can be downloaded, it can be sent through email. But yeah, imagine the user was able to get to perhaps a malicious executable and either intentionally or accidentally run that application. Again, I've got an example of that here. So if we just have a look at this, I've managed to download Dave's command prompt. It is the actual command interpreter, but again, slightly modified so that if I am able to get to it to run it, you can see already it's bypassed that group policy that stops the official command prompt from running. And it is the real command interpreter. It's it's just modified to ignore that group policy. So whilst the group policy is there, the application is no longer running it. So yeah, just a simple example of malware evading group policy there. So there we have it. Quick demonstration. Group policy is a great tool for providing a lockdown, a customized user experience, but as we've seen, it can't guarantee that applications, executables can't be run that you don't want people to be running. Yes, it provides a very good way of preventing users getting access to the ability via the UI to launch those apps. But as I said previously, it doesn't technically stop them from doing it, and that's where you really need to look at contextual access, some proper whitelisting and blacklisting technologies that ultimately prevent those applications from running. So thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you all soon.